What's up, guys? So today I decided I'm gonna make a video about some of the turbo stuff we're gonna be doing to this truck. I got some parts in. I'm just gonna show you what we've gotten so far. We're still got to get some more things. Right now I'm kind of waiting to get some of this stuff because right now I'm about to switch jobs, so I don't want to go spend a bunch of money that I don't have, you know. So once I get all that situated, we're gonna go ahead and buy everything else. But in the meantime, I do need to take this truck to the track and do some baseline testing while it's naturally aspirated, get all that lined out. And then we can start putting this turbo on it after we do all that. And the local track now is having test and tune on Thursday nights, so we'll try to hit that next time they're actually able to, because it's been raining so much here, they keep canceling everything. And that's why I haven't really been able to do a lot of videos on this truck. I want to do some driving videos, and it's been raining. And anyways, so right now I'm going to go ahead and do a video on the turbo, set up some of the stuff I've gotten so far and what my plans are with it. So first thing I got is this turbo header. It was on eBay, pretty cheap. It seems to be pretty good quality. May have to do some modifications on it though, because as you can see, it's got this V-band flange that connects both banks together. I'm probably going to put a shorty header on the other side, so that way we don't have any problems, because right now it's got long tubes on it, and if I just replace this one, the long tube, first of all, is going to be coming out towards the transmission, so I'd have to make a pipe come all the way back up and then over or under the transmission. I don't want to do all that. But also, we may have some AFR issues. It may be leaner on that side because it's got long tube headers, and the other one side might be richer because it's shorty, or vice versa. I don't want any issues or any discrepancies between both banks as far as AFR goes, especially under boost. So we're going to go ahead and get us a set of cheap shorty headers, and we're going to put the left side on and then just run this one on the right side. As you can see, it does have the T4 flange, and we also have a wideband bung here, which would be nice. I'm planning on putting a wideband bung in the other side as well, on the other header, so that way I can see both banks. Now this won't be monitored by the Holley system, because the Holley HP system only has provision for one O2 sensor. That's kind of what it uses to make adjustments. And what we're going to do there is put that one in the downpipe. But I do want to have one wideband sensor on the right side and one wideband sensor on the left side, both banks of the engine, so that way I can see if there's any major differences between the left and right, and then see what the total combined AFR is behind the turbo and the downpipe. So that way we don't run into issues of this side's lean, this side's rich, and we blow a motor up because of that. I don't want that to happen. So as long as they're close, then I won't really worry about it, but I want to have a wideband on both sides just so I can kind of see what's going on. The nice thing about the Holley EFI system is I can actually go in and tune each individual cylinder, so that helps as far as adding fuel. And I think you can even add a little bit of timing on each individual cylinder, which is nice. But we probably won't be doing that unless if it's way off or something and I end up putting a bung in each one of these tubes coming out of each cylinder, then we might get into that, but that seems like a lot, and I don't think it really needs all that. A lot of people get away with not having to do all that, so hopefully we don't run into any issues as far as that. I don't think we will, but I do have to modify this because, as you can see, we don't have a provision for a wastegate, which is what we're going to have. So what I'm planning on doing is running the other side, having a pipe coming in here from the other bank, and then turbo will be sitting on the T4 flange, of course. And then what I'm thinking about doing is cutting a hole here, running a tube off, and putting the wastegate on top of that tube. So that way we can connect everything at one point, and the wastegate will be right there where the other one's coming in and this one's coming in. So we can vent all of our possible boost if we need to. And I'm probably going to do it at an angle, because I know a 90 degree is not ideal, so it's probably going to be more like coming up here somewhere or another. But as we do that, I'll kind of show you what's going on. Another important piece that we just got that I'm pretty excited about is this VS Racing turbo. As you can see, this is the 7875 from VS Racing, and it has the billet wheel on it, which is pretty nice looking. and this was actually on sale. This has the 0.96 back housing on it, by the way. So these turbos claim that they can handle 1,000 horsepower. I've seen it do it on a bunch of LS combinations and stuff, so I know it can. But that was with the 1.24 housing, which is just a percentage of the front of the turbo, the turbine housing itself. But this is the back housing, so it actually being smaller would help us with spool up a little bit, but it may not create that 1,000 horsepower, which is fine with me because I do not plan on running 1,000 horsepower through this truck. I don't think this motor can handle that, and not very long anyway, so I don't want to be doing that. I want to run this safe so that way I can get some longevity out of it. Like I said, this is not a full-blown race truck. This is going to be a street truck that's, I take the strip every once in a while, have some fun with it, but I don't want to blow it up immediately. I want to get some life out of it. And I know these rod bolts are stock in this truck, and they're known to quit when they get to a certain point. I've seen it on a few different people's setups where the rod bolts will fail, and that'll cause catastrophic engine damage. So we're not going to push it that far. I'm thinking maybe 700. That'd be that's kind of on, if I'm leaning on it, it's the most I really want to make out of this motor. And I know it can make more, but the motor can't handle more, so we're not going to do that. Now, the Demon, on the other hand, I know y'all have seen that in some of these other videos in the background. It's actually right over there. That one is going to be more of a strip-oriented build where it's going to be, I can still street drive it, but mostly it's for the drag strip. And that one, I probably will end up going to 1,000 horsepower or something similar to that. But that one's going to be a completely different setup entirely. I don't want to have to redo this whole truck because I went too fast to drag strip and safety reasons. But now that car, I probably will do whatever's necessary. That's going to be more of a fast car build. This is more of a fun truck build. So that's the deal with this turbo. It should be fine for what we're doing, and it should work great. I actually got that one on sale, and I also got a discount on top of that because I don't know if you are familiar with Joe Simpson on YouTube. He does a lot of Holley EFI stuff, and he has a course called Tune the Trilogy, and I'm part of that course. And part of that deal is you get VS Racing stuff at a discounted rate if you put his code in or whatever. And so I did that, and I got a little bit more off on the VS Racing stuff, which is nice. But that turbo was pretty cheap, so that was part of the reason I went with it. And also, I don't think the turbine housing is going to cause me any issues on this truck because the back housing, because like I said, I'm not going for 1,000 horsepower. I'm going more for 700, and that should be plenty for this, and it should allow us to spool up better. And then another thing I got was this intercooler, and we're going to have to do some work up there in the front to get this to work, but this should be fine. I was looking at the CFM rating, and it was pretty good, so we should be fine with that. And it's got a 3-inch inlet and 3-inch outlet, so that should be fine. That should match our turbo pretty good, so we're not running any issues there. We shouldn't lose a whole bunch of boost through it, which is nice. But I didn't want to go the meth injection route because I think it'd just be easier to run an intercooler. I like intercoolers better. They seem to perform better. I may be wrong, I don't know, but that's just my personal opinion. I'd rather run the intercooler through it, and then possibly have meth injection if I ever went crazy, which I'm not going to on this truck. But on something else, I might run that as a backup. Like if the boost spiked or something, may have some type of safety where it adds a little bit of meth injection or something. But not on this truck, because it's not going to be at that level. So something else I got for this truck, which I want to mention, is this Wastegate. And this is actually pretty cheap for the quality you get. I was actually really surprised when it came in. And I watched a couple of people reviewing them, and they're very well made. But this should be a good Wastegate for us. I'm hoping it'll be enough. I'm not really sure what size it was. I have to re-look at that. I'll put it up here in the video somewhere whenever I look it up, but I don't know off the top of my head, so it'll be up here somewhere. But anyway, so that should be fine. Now, we don't have a blow-off valve yet. I'm gonna have to get that, along with some exhaust piping, a downpipe, and the intercooler piping and all that. I haven't got any of that yet, so we've got to do that. And I'm also gonna get a blow-off valve. I'll get the blow-off valve also from VS Racing because I really like the quality of this one, this Wastegate. So if it's similar to the blow-off valve, I'll be happy. And And I also want to mention this because this is a pretty important part of it. The boost control, which is going to be used via 2 3-port Mac valves. And I can go in a little bit more later on in the video about how that's going to work. But from what the research I have done on it, seems like that's the best route to go. And for me, it seems like it's the safest as well, and I'll get into that later. But I'll go ahead and take a couple steps back because I forgot to mention this. We are going to have to redo some stuff with the intercooler. At the front up there, it'll fit between my frame rails. Actually, I'll pop the hood real quick so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, so as you can see, it will actually fit in between the radiator and the back of the grill here, but we're gonna have to figure something out because as you can see, I got that split down this, and we want this to stay with the truck. So if I ever take the front end off the truck, we can still drive it or move it or whatever we need to do. Now I also got to move this. This is my transmission cooler. I'm planning on putting that. As you can see, it's already pretty close to the radiator, but we need to move this to the back of the truck. What I was going to do is put it underneath the truck because we took that big old fuel tank out of the factory fuel tank, and there's a big open area there now. So what we're going to do is build like a little box or something to kind of direct airflow to the transmission cooler, and we'll just put it underneath the bed of the truck somewhere back in there. So that'll get that out of the way. And then as you can see, it's kind of in the way right now too of taking this thing off, taking the front end off, because you'd have to disconnect this. But we're going to move it all, and hopefully we can make everything work here. Probably have to cut a hole or something down here for the intercooler to come in. As you can see though, we do have plenty of room for everything. I'm planning on having that header come up right here and have the turbo right in this area, and then have the pipe from that side coming underneath the transmission and through this little hole over here and up into the back of the piping so we can all make it fit together. And of course, we'll just have the intercooler piping coming down, going over here through that, and then back up. And we'll have to get us a hat too. I forgot to mention that. We do need to get us a carb hat or EFI hat, whatever you want to call it. I know ProCharger makes them, and there's a couple other brands, but we'll figure one of them out and use that. But the good thing about the Magnums is these throttle bodies actually have the same flange as the carburetors, so really you can get any hat and it's the same. So it should work out well. As you can see, it's actually the same hat that I had on, not really a hat, but it's the air filter, the same air filter I had whenever it had the 750 double pumper on it. So, and that's the throttle body that's on it now, so it works. I did have to bend the all thread a little bit so that nut would actually go down on it because it's a little bit offset. So anyways, we'll figure all that out when we get there. But for right now, I just want to give you all an update on what's going on with the turbo setup. And I want to mention too that I'm doing all this through the Holley HP. I know I've mentioned that in many videos, and it's pretty well known now that it's EFI system on this truck. But I do want to mention this real quick, that I did put a different tune in it. So I've been running another tune that I just kind of put together, and this one's the same tune, but I modified it so that way if I ever get into boost, it's kind of safe. I gotta go through it a little bit more and make sure, but right now I wouldn't be afraid to put 5 pounds through it or anything like that. And as you can see, Holley makes it easy. You got it mapped boost or whatever, and you got vacuum down here and then boost up here, and I got my spark pulled for every pound of boost. I think I'm doing, let's see, I'm doing like 1 pound for every PSI boost, or I mean 1 degree for every 1 pound of boost, and up until like 15 pounds, which I don't plan on getting into anytime soon, or actually up until 10 pounds. Then I start pulling 2 degrees per pound of boost. But I don't plan on going over 10 psi right now. This transmission cannot handle that. We're going to be lucky if it handles 5 pounds, to be honest with you. I don't really want to go much more than that until we get the transmission built. But like I said, right now I'm in between jobs, or about to be, so I'm not going to do that right at this moment. But we are going to go ahead and try to put the turbo kit on and just run a little bit of boost. I'll just put a really light spring in this wastegate and go ahead and get the boost control set up and all that. And the nice thing about Holley is it's all integrated into the Holley FI system. They actually have a boost button here, or a boost panel thing. As you can see, you can set it up as dual port dome pressure control, which is what I have, and I just set it up as dual Holley because they're the same thing. I got these from Low Dollar Motorsport, and the only difference is these have different stickers on the front of them. That's the only visible difference you can see between that and the ones that Holley sell. So just letting y'all know that there's cheaper options out there. It looks like they just slap a different sticker on them. So that's what I'm using. But as you can see, we got safety setup, scramble buttons, all that stuff. And we'll get into all that whenever I actually get more into the turbo things. Right now I'm just trying to piece it all together and get it on the truck. But like I said, we're only going to run 5 pounds of boost. I'll probably set it up to bend it all out whenever I get to 5 pounds or whatever, because I don't want to blow this thing up, blow the transmission out of it, I should say. Because I'm not worried about the motor, I'm worried about the transmission right now. And if you see my last video when I tore the transmission, or tore the pan off the transmission, you'll see what I mean. This thing is not happy, just with the stock 360, with a couple of things done to it. It's not happy with that. So whenever we go with boost, it's definitely not going to be happy, and I want to make sure that I don't kill it too fast. I want it to last until we get the other transmission together, and the other transmission once again is going to be a 46 RE. We're going to put a manual valve body in it and get the 700 horsepower, I think it's 700 through 800 horsepower kit from CRT, Cope Racing Transmissions. They have a build it yourself kit. Not sure if I'm going to build it myself yet or not. I might try it, but or I may take it somewhere and have them build it and just get all the parts for it. I'm not sure yet, but anyways, that's a $3,500 kit, so I don't have the money for that right now at this moment. Like I said, here soon, I'm hoping we can source it up so we can get that ball rolling on that, and then once we get that in there, we can do the drive shaft and get the 8.8 rear end in this truck, and then it'll really be ready to make some noise. We'll also have to redo the wheel setup because, as you've seen in the other video, this thing is not hooking right now, but it only has 235 millimeter tires on it, so they're not very wide. I don't know what that is in inches, but it's pretty narrow tire, so that's why we're not hooking. It is posi now, so it helps, but still, it's just spinning. It's very fun to drive like that, but spinning ain't winning, so we ain't going to be doing that. And it may hook on prep. We'll see in the soon video where I take it to the track and all that. But as of right now, that's what we got going on. And like I said, I'm going to try to order some parts, and as they get here, we'll go ahead and start messing with some things and trying to get everything figured out as far as boost related things. I might make a video if I get a new part in or something, but as of right now, that's all we got. Like I said, I do need to do some more tuning on this thing, so as soon as we get an opportunity to go to the track, we're going to do that. And I have the draggy, so we'll keep that as well, so that way we can see as we're going on the track what's going on. But that'll be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.